Alrighty, guys. This is first video. So starting this this YouTube channel, had a lot of requests to start putting kind of my thoughts and ideas to good use, I guess you would say. And what better way than some YouTube videos, eh? Waste enough time watching them. Might as well start making them. So, at any rate, like the title says in the name of the channel, strong and straight. It kind of speaks for itself, but a lot about, mostly for men, obviously. Those are the two straight, straight implies a lot of things, strong implies a lot of things. It's more than just physical strength, although that's very important, being strong-minded, how about that? Having core values. If you guys ever heard of something like that? Being so strong-minded and, standing up for what you believe in, not compromising on your core values for anyone, that means even family. Because at the end of the day, as a man, you start compromising on your core values, that's how you die internally. A slow, painful death. Arguably more painful than, actually fucking dying. Excuse my language. I need to watch that. That is one thing I know I need to do a little better about, but at any rate. So, we starting this channel, trying to help other men out there. It's a tough world we live in. Kind of got a war on masculinity going on. Kind of getting hit from every angle, it seems. And you just know, you're not alone, but, you kind of are. And I say that because, you have to be able to take your life in your own hands. It's kind of the hallmark of being a man. Accepting responsibility for every single thing in your life. You need to understand that everything is your fault. And I think I just messed it up. Maybe not. No matter what. Oh yeah, that's tight. That is much better. Lock it down. Yeah. So, once you start taking responsibility for everything in your life, things will start to change. It might be a little rough at first, because you might have a kind of a debt of karma to pay, but it's gonna get better eventually. So anyway, starting this I keep wanting to say podcast. Gosh, might be a podcast. spoiler alert. But yeah, starting this YouTube channel to help men and kind of tell my story a little bit. The name's not really important yet, I guess. Who knows? Who cares, really? I'm not perfect. I don't claim to be. I've made a lot of mistakes in my life. And, in recent years, I have accepted full responsibility for that. Some very mundane, some larger. Nothing too crazy. I'm not a degenerate by any means. Not that I haven't done stupid things. But, my life has improved drastically across the board in the past probably 5 years. Cutting off old friends. Started to take life more seriously. You might not be able to tell it now yet, but physically, very in shape. Before messed up my back, had to pay the price for that, and that's a whole other story. But financially, I loosely hit my goal. I say loosely because I'm referring to revenue and not net profit, but of making $1 million, over $1 million before I was 30 in 1 year. And so just turned 30, and this past month, and I did hit my goal a few months prior to that. So just barely made it, but we made it. And that means absolutely nothing in the grand scheme of things. Money only gets you the freedom. Doesn't really mean a whole lot. So you got to make sure you know what you really want. And so for me personally, what I really want isn't money, but I need money to get there. And that would be, 600 acres somewhere where I can build pretty much my forever home. Have a home gym, maybe a low-key homestead kind of life. Doesn't matter. It's whatever I want. And, start really living life. But to get there, as a man, you need to understand that you got to start sacrificing. You'll always have to make a sacrifice. Doesn't matter what you're doing. If you decide you're going to go out on the weekend, you never understand that you're sacrificing your future, getting better to some degree. Obviously, it's not the end of the world. You spend some time with your friends. I don't have friends, so don't gotta worry about that anymore. But yeah, you gotta be careful. Everything you do has a consequence. That could be good or bad. Some things that are good might be perceived as bad. Depends on who you are and what your goals are. It's very, very, very important that you write this stuff down, take it seriously. I myself don't always follow that, so I'll be the first one to admit it. But got a pretty good idea of where I'm heading, or where I want to go. Do I know where I'm heading? Get off the beaten trail sometimes. But seem to always find my way back. And just try your best. But if you can have your goals and everything directed towards something, and you start really concentrating effort, be surprised at what you can do. There's the whole rule of 100. That if you spend 100 hours in a year at anything, it doesn't matter what it is. You start, gunsmithing, or you start becoming an extreme pogo sticker, or I'm done playing around. Learning a language, reading books, anything, doesn't matter. You will, maybe not reading books, but you will be better than like 95+% of people in the world. And 100 hours a year is like 15, 20 minutes a day. Okay. And so, do you have 15 to 20 minutes a day? Some people say no. I'd argue you're lying to yourself. That's a big no-no. Lying is not good for you. But I myself, I'm a pretty busy guy. Okay. I got a full-time job. That works for me quite a bit. Weekends and stuff like that. And I still got, 2 businesses running full-time. I got employees full-time. So I'm responsible for other people's lives, not just my own. And, my family. I'm responsible for other people's livelihood to some extent, and their families. Some of them, are single parents working. So at the end of the day, their continued success and ability to make money hinges on my decisions. And that's not nothing. That's that's called responsibility. And I don't take it lightly. And with a man, as far as being a man goes, you need to have responsibility. That's how you grow. That's how you become better. That's how you really feel the right there. Feel like you're doing what you should be doing. So this channel, starting it up, strong and straight, baby. Figured, now's the time. At a new year, everybody's just finally not being sick. I'm not sick. Get all that done, all the holidays, nonsense. Really start this up, hit the ground running. Redoing this whole room. So, I just kind of slid this stuff over here. I just finally got this stuff in, so I'm trying to get this all put together. So it's not in the way, but, and also kind of, if it was the first video, hey guys, I want to make sure that you got a little something maybe down the road. Be like, I remember when he first started, and just getting the studio set up. We ain't got to call a studio, but yeah, I'm just gonna pretty much share my nonsense and my deep thoughts. It's kind of all I do. At the end of the day, what I do for fun is think. I think too much sometimes, and I thought about doing something like this for too long. So that's the bad thing. Sometimes at the end of the day, the most important thing you can do is to take action. You know, start doing, even if it's shitty. You know, at least you got something more than other people. So, you know, yeah. So, you know, as far as what I got going on in my life, I got a lot going on. But let's start breaking it down. You know, start with the easy one. Physically, I blew my back out. Allowed that to be an excuse. I was on a walker at 28 years old for a little while. Allowed that to be an excuse. A lot of pain. Had a newborn child I couldn't get out of bed to take care of. Let that get inside my head. And went from about 258 is what I weighed. You know, pretty lean, very strong. Not that I'm not strong now. But yeah, I allowed myself to get up to 343. The height of that was you know, from the time I fell and hurt and really, you know, officially herniated my disc, and tore another one. To when I got my surgery, it was probably somewhere around 7-8 months. And then it was over a month of recovering just to be able to walk around, you know, half decent. So, you know, having a newborn, you know, having responsibility, having other people's lives to take care of, you know, not just your family, but, you know, with businesses and stuff. Still achieved my goal of, you know, the financial thing, but I really sacrificed by making excuses, you know, my health, which is pretty important. So got up to like 343. I'm really able to be in the gym now again, really hitting cardio, eating like a machine again. Literally eat the same exact thing every single day. You know, 4 times. Well, you know, right now I'm eating 4 times a day, but you know, I eat literally chicken and rice for every single meal except for breakfast. I have egg whites. So it's pretty boring. And so you say, well, dude, I can't do that. Well, there you go, put limits on yourself. Nah, but, you know, I understand. Everybody's different. You know, everybody can't be that extreme, I guess. But, you know, like I said, I get my goal in my head of where I want to head. And then I flip that switch and that's where I'm heading. And so holidays threw me for a little bit of a loop, but, you know, I was down to 284, back up to 305 as of yesterday. It's a lot of water weight. And how do I know that? Well, I was 305 yesterday, I was 301 this morning, so by the end of this week, really believe I should be low 290s. So, you know, just getting back in the groove of things, getting my body back used to everything again. We'll be back. So, you know, getting all that straight. Really need to get back down to lean, you know, 250, 260 range. So then I can, you know, go back to what I love, which is, you know, lifting and, you know, trying to be more bodybuilding, whatever. You know, I just want to put on size, man. I want to be bigger. I want to be stronger, while still being, you know, in good cardiovascular shape. Can't sacrifice that. So, you know, your heart happens to be your most important muscle. Some would say otherwise, but, you know, I might be a big guy, but my resting heart rate's like 55, 60. And, I did 50 minutes of cardio today. Cut short because septic system. It's been raining for days, and today's been bad. So septic alarm, high level alarm going off. It's kind of annoying when you're trying to bike. So had to go take care of that. And well, put the video up in here somehow, somewhere. But yeah, got that straight. Came back in. It's like, well, done cardio. Get another dose of chicken and rice in there, and a couple dill pickles. Love me some dill pickles. And yeah, pretty mundane. And had a little bit of a overindulgence. Gatorade Zero packet mixed in with some water. I know, splurging, but yeah, not too bad. So we're getting all that straight. I need multiple of these. What am I doing? So, at any rate, yeah. So, for us this year, goals for, physically, and we're gonna hit them. No excuses. And I got this here, extra accountability. Yeah, I better hit them now. So yeah, we got that, and I guess financially, well, made a lot of money last year. Bought some duplexes and whatnot. Well, I guess gotta keep making some money. I really like to expand the one business. Having in, these businesses are actually in another state. Not to add any more complexity to it, but yeah, so they're in another state. And trying to get it in this state as well, so it'll be a fun little endeavor, to say the least. Don't think that's gonna fit. Ain't no way. But yeah, so really, so financially, yeah, so setting up the business in this state, getting it rock and rolling, get some employees down here. Trying to get promotion at the job I work at. Mostly, it's not really too back of the down a bit. Too high. It's not really the money. Obviously, nothing wrong with the 9 to 5 and blah 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 blah. But obviously, for me, it's not the money. They don't know that. But obviously, I'm not going to turn down more money. It's going to get me to my goal that much faster. And so it's more about getting into a leadership role. Can you make change without being in a leadership role? Yes, 1000%. It's much harder in a company that's very dysfunctional, like the one I'm working at. So, it's been a task. I've been at it for quite a while. I'm not saying I did everything right, but I like to believe I did a lot of things right, especially recently. I've really hit that financial freedom marker where I can really speak my mind, without really having to worry about people, getting fired. Let's just say what it is. And that's actually a really good feeling, to speak your mind. And so in a healthy organization with a good culture, well, you should be able to speak your mind anyways, right? That's the whole idea, is that there's not really, your title doesn't come with a crown. And in a healthy organization, the people coming in right out of college or, right out of high school or whatever have, just as much say, in what's going on as the other person. Now, when I say that, I mean more of, their voice is being heard and, their perspective. But, you still obviously have to have, a hierarchical structure in order to get things done. Somebody has to make a decision at the end of the day. But if you're not giving people that opportunity, or they're afraid to do so because fear of reprisal or whatever, well, you're pretty toxic as a leader, as a manager, as a leader. So one other thing I'm very passionate about is selfless leadership. And I really got a long story there. I got a lot of stories, but I got turned on to that. Woke up to it. I've experienced it in my life, but I didn't know what it was. I woke up to it in college when the only professor that I've ever had that actually, cared enough to, felt like he actually cared about me specifically. It wasn't just another student, whatever, that blah, 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 blah. So that really, there's a story there, kind of woke me up to that. But, then again in my MBA, you learn about a lot of stuff, a lot of useless stuff, but you also learn about culture. And one of the things you learn about it is selfless leadership. And, when I found out, textbook, what selfless leadership was, I was so just engulfed by it. It hit me like a ton of bricks. I'll never forget it. So I thought my MBA was useless, or I absolutely hated it. So I started it 3 days after my bachelor's. And man, halfway through I was like, what did I start, man? This sucks, because I was working full time, had no life, but doing homework every single night. And I didn't take any breaks, and did it as fast as I could in a year and a half. And but halfway through, really started learning about culture and selfless leadership, stuff like that. And that's when I was like, man, this stuff. And then I started looking at the place I worked, which was, a different, same industry, different place. But I remember my boss at the time, who I didn't get along with, after I started learning about what selfless leadership was, what good looks like, well, then I started seeing textbook examples that were literally describing that man. And I was like, wow, this literally is textbook saying that he is not a good leader. And I was like, it just makes so much sense. It's just, you know. So, at any rate, that's when really figured that out. Then, you know, that place got shut down. Had to move because I didn't want to stay in my hometown anymore. Because I knew exactly where. I'd never been anywhere in my life, okay? Never flew on a plane. I was 25, just finished my MBA. Figured out the place was going to shut down. And, let's stick in this. So, never been anywhere in my life. So I said, you know what? I know if I stay here, I know exactly where I'm going to live. Exactly.
I don't know how to turn off the toilet.
Okay, I'll get it.
I've been trying to call you.
Oh, sorry. Be right back. Toilet doesn't like the seat. Need to get a new, guts inside for it. Had to help her turn off the water to it, but I happen to be the man of the house, so hey, baby, don't worry, I got it. Anyway, I knew exactly where I was gonna live. Knew exactly where I was gonna hang out. Knew exactly who I was gonna hang out with. I just knew how my life was gonna go, and that scared me more than the unknown. So this is my call to adventure, I guess, in my life, and really glad I listened and took the chance. So, applied to same job, different, same industry, just different location. And, so moved down here, and, that's when I said to myself, you know what? It's time to make a change, start the business, help my mom, struggling financially, just because of a series of unfortunate events, COVID, stuff like that. So, something had to give, something had to change, and it was me being who I am and not accepting, just the hand you're dealt is just because it's not great doesn't mean you can't play it, And so started the business, and it kind of took off quick because really focus on quality and communication. It's a dying art in any industry, really, but but yeah, so blah blah blah, got all that, and yeah, so selfless leadership, moved down here. As soon as I get here, the new industry, I get put in this selfless leadership training. Never forget it. It was so good, especially coming right out of my MBA. And you know, I was told this place is the leadership training facility of the company. You know, and if I work at this specific location, I can go anywhere. And it makes you a leader. And they got me. They got me. And so they did this training, and I was like, man, if everyone listens to this and follows this place is going to be phenomenal. There ain't no doubt about it. And so as soon as we got out of there, we do a personality test and all kinds of stuff. It tells you exactly, it lays it out. You know, this is who you are. This is your personality. This is the way you think. This is how you learn. You know, all these things. And your temperament, your overall temperament. And I was like, man, this is going to be phenomenal, because now every manager has literally a cheat sheet of how all of their employees tick. So there's no way that they can't, do the right thing and treat people right and just build them up. Well, it was all a facade. It's all just a front, checking some boxes, man, because it just faded off after that, never to be used again, never to be really referred to again. And very unfortunate. Very good training. So, now I have all this, all this, but I have this insight into what good looks like. And I'll be honest with you, it's scary. I've only have a short career of like 7 years out of college, but I've been to a lot of, places, not just my own facility, but more. And these were very large scale, big operations, 24/7, 365. And there's a lack of leadership in this country, in the workforce. And, I'm not saying women can't lead, but, again, this channel is kind of catered towards men, and a man as part of being a man, is to lead. Now, of course, women can lead. I'm not saying they can't, but men are, the whole premise of masculinity is built, for men to lead. Which we'll get into on this channel, guys. So, anyways, yeah, it's scary. It really is. And I've been passive at times and sat back, and again, I wasn't as well off as I am now to be able to speak up, but there needs to be more people like that, and unfortunately, that's really how it has to be, I think, because nowadays, you really need that paycheck more than you did 40 years ago, especially if you've got a pretty good paying job for the area, which is exactly what's there. So you tongue tie a lot of people by holding their paycheck over their head. And even if they're not intentionally doing that's the perception, which is all that matters. At the end of the day, what people perceive is the game. If the people who report to me perceive that I can't be approached, I'm unapproachable. Well, it doesn't matter if I don't actually feel that way or try to be that way or whatever. The reality is that's what they perceive. And so it's up to me to change that. Doesn't matter if they're misunderstanding me. That's my fault. So again, we go back to taking ownership for everything in your life, everything you do, every interaction, every single thing. As a man, it's your fault. So, if people are misunderstanding what's going on. This is what drives me nuts about leaders, or management. There's not enough of, well, this ain't working. This system or whatever we're trying to do isn't working. It's like pushing a rope. Well, it's probably because you're pushing the damn rope and you ain't pulling it, and telling everybody to get behind you. You don't know where you're going. You don't know what good looks like. And you're not breaking it down and explaining to people why it's important that they pick up that rope and start pulling with you. So, I've been in HR a lot lately. But it's remarkable. It really is. It really is. Like I said, so there's a real lack of masculinity these days, and again, it's all tying together. It's all plays on one another. This whole, like I said, war of masculinity. It's got to change, man. I think I messed up. I didn't put that on first. I didn't think it through. But yeah, so we need more men, real men, in this world. And unfortunately, to get that, I really think we need more people that are able to break free of the false perception, which is actually a lot of times actually reality, that people they're holding your paycheck over your head, and break free of that, and then start being the guy that stands up, start saying something, and again, that's how you grow. So you start really having your core values and adhering to them, and not compromising no matter what, and showing people that, hey, I'm speaking up, you can too, and you should. And it's remarkable, and I've seen it happening in real time in my place of work currently. I didn't mess up in this class. But, yeah, it's people are actually, inspired and feel that, hey, enough people stand up, can't fire us all, right? It's just like the movie A Bug's Life. You got Hopper up there, dude, the grasshopper. And, he's just afraid that all these little ants gonna start banding together, realizing that they don't need Hopper. And Hopper and his little couple goonies ain't enough to stop 1,000 ants. So, but again, you need to understand that somebody needs to step up and be the leader and say, hey, enough's enough, guys. Time to stand up to Hopper and lead that charge. And really focus everyone's energy after they unite them. So, I've been kind of going around behind the scenes, town crier almost. I really like to write. I don't do it enough, but I think I'm pretty good at it. But so I use that to my advantage. So I just kind of write out my thoughts and just go drop it off like it's a newspaper around the facility in different shops and areas. And it's been anonymous for a while, but people were figuring out it's me, and that's fine. And if they want to disagree or agree, they can come talk to me, because I could care less if you agree or disagree, really. It's the truth. I have to speak the truth. I figured out that I guess I can't really talk this too much. Yeah, I have to be telling the truth, because the truth at the end of the day is king. The truth is king. That is a whole other rabbit hole there. But we live in a world that we really dance around the truth hardcore. I've noticed in these facilities, in the workforce, heavy industrial facilities, even where you would think that you would have some pretty rugged men, don't tell the truth. Truth, the logic, truth, and reason are all useless weapons in these facilities because of the culture they've created. So we got to change that. But like I said, I can't stand the checking boxes and just putting lipstick on a pig anymore. So I gotta say something. I can't sit here anymore and watch it, because you know why? Here's a fun fact for you too, as a man, that you not saying anything or doing anything arguably makes you worse than the people actually doing it. Learned that the hard way myself, but that's reality right there. You standing by while evil prospers. You claiming to be a good man stands by. Doesn't say anything. Doesn't get involved. Because you're worried something bad might happen to you. I can almost understand that. I've done it myself at times. So, getting through all this, I know it's kind of bouncing around a little bit what I'm talking about, but fun fact for you is that in order to grow, you must change. In order to change, the only way to do so is to do the things that you don't want to do, you don't like to do. And so for me, that meant finally getting an audience together that I perceived or believed would be the one that would be able to invoke change if they were to take what I said to heart. And so I got a second master's degree, whatever, another piece of paper. But it was weird. It was through this job I'm working in, and so through the University of Tennessee, partnered with whoever, this engineering degree, and but I had a very unique opportunity to present in front of a lot of corporate people, my own facilities leadership. The whole class I went through it with and graduated with. and other peers and other professors from the University of Tennessee, a third party that kind of taught us, these professors and leaders in the industry. So it had quite the audience, and it's recorded and it's been broadcasted throughout the entire company. And so, anyways, sat there and thought about, we're supposed to present on what we learned and our projects and the money we saved and things like that. And, do I just go in there and do my thing and graduate? Finally get this over with after 15, 16 months. Get my piece of paper. I'm safe. I'm done. Safe. I got it. I can't take it. Or do I really start practicing what I'm preaching? Me thinking about what would happen if I didn't say those things, I wouldn't be able to live with myself. I'd have a regret in my life. I don't want regret. And so I used that opportunity, since I had the most cost savings by long shot, $1.5 million in a year. Had the most cost savings. So it wasn't like I just saved, $5,000 and was like, hey, guess what, guys, you suck. You're crappy leaders. So, I feel like I had a little bit of a leg to stand on. I knew I was going to go last the day of graduation. So, there was a bit of it where I was like, I think I'll still graduate. But I winged it off the cuff. I tried to sit there the night before till like 2 a.m. thinking about, okay, I should say this, and writing down this and that. I finally just crumbled it up and threw it in the trash. And I said, you know what? This stuff, man, it is me. I'm telling the truth. Life's easy when you tell the truth. Once you get rid of all the lies and you just start telling the truth, you don't have to think, you don't gotta write things down. You can just speak from your heart. So, I spoke from my heart, let me tell you that. And it was very well received for the most part throughout the company. My local, senior management, not so much. But, I really spoke to the problem we had across the board. This equates to many things, a multitude of things, not just, the work industry. This is everything. This is everything across the board. You can take this as micro or as macro as you'd like, but lack of masculinity is the problem, is the root cause from everything. But so this really stems from, we did an employee engagement survey, and just year after year, we're more and more disengaged. Nobody feels like the place cares about them. Nobody feels like management cares. Nobody feels like anything's going to change for the better. We're just ding, 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 down, down, down. And, that there, to me, if I was a leader, I would be like, man, especially if I was a common denominator in all those years that's been going on that survey. I would have to take a hard look in the mirror and almost tell myself, hey, I seem to be part of the problem, and I might need to just think about going into, maybe not a people person role, maybe just a subject matter expert role, and stepping down, let somebody in there that actually can, lead people. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you need to realize that. So anyways, I offered a solution. I said the same problem that got us in here is the same problem, or is the same thing that'll get us out of this problem, and that's leadership. And I told my life story and described how I used that. It's all about perception of your situation. You can either let it be the excuse you need to keep being miserable and doing the easy way, or you can let it be the motivation you need to get out of there and change for the better and make the life that you want. And that's how I perceived it. I have other family that they let it be the excuse. Just like the old saying goes, I can't breathe through my nose. If you do the easy things, your life's going to be hard. If you do the hard things, life's going to be easy. Which, again, goes full circle back to what I was saying. If you want to change for the better, you got to do the things you don't like to do. It's as simple as that. Some people love cardio. I don't, but I know I need it. Those same people that like cardio, they don't like reading, or they don't like something else. They don't like lifting weights. Maybe they should. Maybe they need to. And reading books for sure. But they have to make themselves do those things. But that's how they get better. So just because you see somebody who's doing this one thing better than you, you can't just assume that you're special. Okay, you gotta take accountability and responsibility for your actions and understand its consequences. You don't do that cardio that you hate to do, and guess what, buddy? Look at me. I stopped doing it. I was eating like shit. Up to 343 pounds. Still strong as an ox, but it doesn't matter. This isn't healthy. And I love lifting weights. That's easy. Putting on muscle, putting on strength, man. I guess genetically. I've been lifting for 12 years, but I think it's just easy, I guess. But I love it. So you capitalize on those things and you use them as a reward. And the things you don't like to do, you get them out of the way. Especially if you can do it in the morning, get it out of the way first thing. Do the things you hate right off the bat. And the rest of the day becomes easier. And it's just that. You do the hard things, life's easy. You got to do it every day. You got to pay rent. So anyways, speaking back to I get on a lot of tangents, but this speech, this presentation ended up being an hour and 15 minutes, 40 minutes of me going on a rant. I just let it go, just like I'm doing now. And the perception, having a vision and a mission, because that in reality that's actually the leader, the person managing, the facilitator. They're not actually the leader. They're the ones just following the leader and showing people where we're heading, what we're doing, getting everybody on board. So that needs to happen. You need to know what good looks like, where we're heading in order to lead people and break it down for them. You can't just tell people, this is the mistake I've made in business. If I want something cleaned up, for example, I made the mistake saying, hey, go clean. You get what you get, man. I wasn't happy with what I got. And I got frustrated, and I punished people for that. And that was a mistake. It was a failure of being a leader, because it was my fault. I didn't tell them exactly what needed to be done. Now, there's an extent of that over time. If they've done the same, after you've set the clear expectations and they've done it multiple times, you don't need to explain it to them every time. However, the first time, especially the first time, you got to break it down. So, that's just how it works. It goes like something like you get what you expect or something like that. Or I can't remember the saying. But, yeah, made a mistake. And the thing with me, it's a gift and a curse. I remember every single mistake I've ever made, no matter how big or small. And they haunt me. I can bring it up and feel what I felt in the moment when I made the mistake. Just like that. I stole the stapler in kindergarten and didn't get caught in the moment. But got told on or whatever and called my mom and stuff and figured it out eventually. And it's a stapler, man. But I learned from it. I learned from my mistakes. Sometimes it takes a couple of them, but I learn. That's another key thing. So anyways, yeah, so the rest of the presentation talked about discretionary effort in employees. And so, what does that mean exactly? Well, if you can imagine an employee's maximum effort is 100% on this imaginary bar chart. Now, 100% effort in you might be half as much effort as me, 100%, but that doesn't matter. Because what you want out of employees is that they're trying their absolute best at all times. That's the most optimal thing, right? You want everybody to be trying the best that they possibly can, because that's all you can ask for. You can't get any more out of them. So imagine that. So the, say, 60% level of that is, this is just arbitrary number, but is your minimum effort required to keep your job. So that little gap up here, 40% or whatever, that top part, things that live in there are the things that require a person to actually care back, input care into your business, into your ideas, into your plan, into your systems. And if you aren't, and this is meaning the employee's engaged, because the employee's disengaged, they're just giving you the minimum effort to keep their job. And understand something too, that minimum effort is now their maximum. So that means you're never getting the maximum, which is the minimum that you need to keep the job. So you have them dipping down below the minimum requirements. And I see this every single day. I walk by people, I talk to them, and I've even been guilty of it. And, you have these leaders that will punish you before they try to understand why. One thing I always go back to is that, we'll hire these people and they'll come in and they're all excited and ready to go, full of life, full of energy. And within a year or two, they're burnt out and they're at that minimum required level. And so the question you have to ask yourself is, as a leader, were they like that when we hired them? Were they a zombie when we hired them? The answer to that's no. So what happened? You know, did we kill him? Did we turn him into a zombie? The answer is yes. But that would require an actual man to accept responsibility for that and hold themselves accountable and come in and say, hey, you weren't like this when we hired you. I want that back. What's wrong? What's going on? And really, for me personally, it boils down to no clear goals. You know, your boss doesn't even know what you're working on, what you're doing. Not involved. They don't have a stake in anything. They are holding you accountable for things that, you know, you're not even actually responsible for. Leading you by email, so they're never even seeing you in person. No clear prioritization of what you're supposed to be working on or anything. So, yeah, it's a slippery slope, to say the least. But, you know, how do you change that? Well, if everybody's in on it, except you then become the outcast and the one that's wrong by default. So you need to go back to perception versus reality. And there's a point where you have to come to terms with that, I think, and that's kind of where I'm at. I can't move up because I'm perceived as, you know, trash. A zombie, I guess. Things like that. And also the pipeline's clogged, and it's been clogged for almost a decade, and with no plans of opening up anytime soon. Not a lot of opportunity. But, you know, and that's why I'm trying to get a promotion at another place. But perception versus reality, if everybody's in on it, well, the perception then is that I'm crazy when I start talking about selfless leadership. And they all are telling each other, that's stupid, you know, or whatever they're saying. But it goes against it. I know that. And so, I guess as a leader, my only option if I stay and I want to change is to also be better about explaining things. No, again, that's what you do, but does that mean that works? No, because that also requires them to be somewhat decent at listening and hearing input. So you got bad culture and everybody's in on it from a leadership point too, and you're not in a driving seat position in a leadership or actual title of power, man, good luck. I've tried, and I'm not saying I've done it all right, but if you can do it, you're one hell of a man. But I don't know if I can. I've tried. I'm gonna keep trying as long as I'm there, but it ain't looking too good. So you know, so yeah. It's basically what my speech entailed. You know, I was trying to speak to what needs to happen. You know, we need to treat people better. We need to improve the culture. So one thing I've said to these people is that people are your most valuable asset with no close second. Okay? But people are also your most neglected asset with no close second. So, you know, they like to talk about how much this facility is worth, and it's worth, you know, if we were to have to replace it, it'd be $3.5 billion and blah, 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 blah. none of that matters at the end of the day if you don't have people there to run it. I hate to burst your bubble, but it ain't gonna work, bud. So yeah, I didn't like hearing that. That's for sure. But it's true. And how do I know it's true? Well, these employee engagement surveys are a phenomenal way as a leader to look there and see kind of what we've been doing. Is it working? Has it been effective? You have this beautiful opportunity to ask these real questions. But it doesn't matter. Does not matter, my friends. Because that would require an actual leader, which we don't have. You see this in politics, see this in people's relationship in your hometown, see this as a father to a family. You see this, like I said, a CEO of a company. Weak men destroying shit. So, it goes back to the old saying of weak men create hard times create great men create good times, and good times create weak men. So I gotta tell you that. I gotta tell you the truth. Again, I always gotta tell you the truth. Truth of the matter is, you're always going to have these weak men. It's just the way the world is. And how it always has been, how it will always be. You can't have good men without bad men. How would you know the difference? How would you know that you're a good man if you don't have something to compare to that's bad? And you can say, well, you have history where we used to have bad men and we got rid of them all. I could buy that for about fucking 5 minutes. Excuse my language. YouTube, sorry. But the thing with these beliefs of being in a perfect society and things like that, I'm fairly certain as soon as we deem something to be perfect, beautiful, whatever, we'd find a way to destroy it. We'd be so bored because there's nothing to fix. There's no problems to solve. And as a human being, even speaking more than just as a man, that ain't gonna fly. We gotta have some problem to solve, something to fix. So we would break it. We would destroy it. We would start being bad just for the sake of needing that. So I say all that because only so many people are going to be good. And right now we're at a deficit. Eventually we'll be at a surplus. We'll create good times. We'll be back to creating, weak men. More, then we'll be at a deficit again. And we'll create bad times. The strong men will have to come, bail us out. But the good news is, boys, we are at an extreme deficit, maybe an all-time low. And if you want to make a change, be somewhat of a hero, then now's your opportunity. I don't know about that. I'm going to wire this up. That's not bad. So, yeah. You know, you need weak men. Here's the thing. You need weak men because I need weak men. Without weak men, I have nothing to show my son what not to be. And your weak sons aren't there for my son to overcome and triumph over. You know, so by all means, be weak. Everybody watches this video, all, you know, however many of you. It ain't gonna be a life-changing thing for everybody. A lot of people are gonna agree. Barely anybody's gonna take action in their life. And for those who do, please let me know. I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear people changing their life for the better and having success and stuff like that. That is what life's about. And especially if I had any bit to, you know, to spark that motivation. So, yeah, I think, yeah. Lock it down now. Oh yeah. So put it right here. Click it on. Grab the foregrip. Or half-ass thumb it if I need to. I'm going to put the pressure for the laser, which is pretty niche, but it's cool, on the actual foregrip. Click it on, click it off. No problem. Or hold her down. So, not too bad. Like just a. Oh yeah. Got the new stock on there. Got to finish a little wire management there. Water. Got the old tactical sash. Finally got these sling mounts on. I wanted a stock that actually had the QD attachment for this. So now I actually got it. This will make a big difference. At any rate, guys, this is strong and straight. Said might be a little different scenery next time. Still getting things set up in here, trying to get it. That's kind of the way I want it. I didn't want a bunch. If I would have set it up, I would have had so many distractions in the background. Just too much going on. And so trying to, like I said, help men, help people. You know, some of this stuff will be about women and things, and hopefully it'll help them. But, you know, overall, just trying to help people be better and men be better and better leaders and better fathers. You know, across the board, to be a great man means to be, you know, a great husband, a great father, a great brother, a great friend. All of those things. You know, we'll touch on faith and things like that too here at this channel, because that's astronomically important. You know, and they really talked about finance and physical strength, you know, and being straight-minded and actually being straight. But, you know, and again, real quick on that, YouTube, have no problem with people being gay, okay? I just disagree with it. And I'm allowed to disagree. So, yeah, so we will end it here, this first video. And, if you like what you hear, I guess like, comment, subscribe, guys. Ring that bell. I think that's how it goes. Comment down below. If you don't agree with what I'm saying, don't subscribe. Leave a comment. I will reply to you. And I will tell you why you're wrong. And explain why. But, yeah, that's it. Until next time, my friends. Yeah, just be strong and straight. That's all I got for you. Let's do it.